Holding grudges is unhealthy. Holding grudges is unhealthy. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Try Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal ourselves, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, it's not for you. Don't force it. Let it fly. But most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss why holding a grudge is unhealthy, what to do when holding grudges, and how to move forward so we can become healthy, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and just certain things that you need to be aware of. Starting off with the introduction, starting off with the topic, starting off with the first disclaimer, holding grudge is unhealthy. The reason why holding a grudge is unhealthy for a lot of reasons: emotionally, physically, financially, consciously, or subconsciously. What does that mean? Your nervous system. When you hold a grudge, you become angry, which means you are then now going to react and respond, which triggers your fight or flight response. You holding a grudge can cause you to feel negative about yourself, which lowers your self-esteem, which mentally causes you to doubt yourself and be insecure. You holding a grudge affects your emotions, which means you may be unbalanced. You may lack emotional intelligence. And when you lack emotional intelligence, when your emotions are irregulated and unbalanced, you may not be able to condone your behavior or conduct yourself in a way and articulate yourself. Long story short, holding a grudge is unhealthy because it blocks you, it limits you, and it challenges you in a negative way, and it causes you to become psychotic. This is where people become depressed. This is where people become schizophrenic. This is when people become bipolar. And this is where doctors and therapists will diagnose you and label you with these things. And as a naturopathic physician, we're here to remove these labels, these titles, and these limitations. Holding a grudge is unhealthy. This doesn't mean that what has happened to you or what you've experienced was in vain or invalid and that you have to invalidate your experience. But as somebody who has healed themselves and has moved forward and is choosing not to hold a grudge and being bitter or angry, so therefore, like I said, we don't have these physical problems, because that's what happens with your emotions. They end up causing you to be sick and have diseases and etc. This is what you need to know. These are the recommendations. These are the reminders. You have to realize that you are allowed to feel how you feel. And of course, you don't deserve to be treated poorly or less of yourself or to be abused. But once you realize that in order for you to be healthy, you have to be mature. You have to become educated. You have to become aware, because the purpose of life is to live. Once you learn that certain people and places and things don't have your best interests, or that certain people are not healthy themselves and you want to be healthy, you will remove access to them. You will go no contact. You will separate yourself. You will create distance, right? The reason why we're holding grudges is because, like I said, there is some lack of health within us. Like maybe you weren't taught and shown how to express yourself. That goes back with the emotions. Maybe you weren't taught and shown how to be confident. Maybe you weren't able to exist and feel safe and feel heard, which, like I said, affects your nervous system, which then affects your mindset, which then affects how you show up in this world. If you are constantly holding on to grudges from people and places and things, from people suppressing you and hurting your feelings, you're going to continue to be traumatized. And this is what the topic is really about. You don't have to hold a grudge just because somebody hurt you or harm you. What you can do, what I recommend doing, is saying that. And two, you are able to face yourself, because 99% of the time, if these people in these places and things did not change and apologize, they did what they did. That is the truth, you guys. The world is not going to change. People are not going to start hurting people and harming people and raping people and taking people out until people realize that people hurt their feelings. People did certain things. That's number one. You have to be able to face yourself. You have to be able to apologize to yourself. You have to be able to forgive yourself. You have to realize that you allowed, intentionally or not, somebody to take advantage of you. Is it your fault? No, but you allowed it. Why did you allow it? Because maybe you weren't taught and shown how to speak up. Maybe you didn't think that you were confident. Maybe you felt like you deserved to be treated less than. Maybe you grew up in dysfunction. I don't know. You know. That's why you're supposed to be taking notes. You're supposed to be answering these questions. You're supposed to apply what resonates. But it's like, you got to say that. You cannot be afraid to talk about how somebody made you feel if it was inappropriately. This doesn't mean that what has happened to you, like I said, didn't happen, or that I'm encouraging the abuse, or I'm standing up for the narcissist or toxicity. But no, I've been there before. I'm telling you, this is what you have to do. Like, this is what I've done. Until I was able to realize that my feelings were hurt and that certain things happened to me, and that I only experienced these things happening to me because maybe I didn't have the guidance, maybe I didn't have the wisdom, maybe I didn't have the parental support, maybe I didn't have the community, maybe I didn't have the finances. I was going to sit here and allow these people who have hurt and harmed me to affect me. And that's where you get resentment. Like I said, all these things that I'm saying, it's attached inside and out. Resentment stems with our emotions, which then leads to our nervous system. I'm not allowing people and places and things who I know are not good people to affect my nervous system, to make me anxious or to make me depressed or make me be psychotic or make me schizophrenic. I'm not, no, because that's what people do when they're malicious and they're evil and they don't care. There are people in this world who are going to intentionally, unfortunately, try to traumatize you because they've been hurt before. They were touched on inappropriately. It doesn't make it right. Like I said, in order for you to stop that cycle or break generational curses or whatever it is, you got to speak up. There have been people who said things to me and who have done things to me on purpose. Instead of me having resentment towards them and giving that much attention and giving that much power, I had to realize there were certain things about myself that I needed to learn. There were certain things about myself that I needed to speak upon. There were certain things about myself that I had to grow. It's okay. I didn't deserve any of these bad things like, nobody deserves bad things to happen to you when you're not doing bad things. Now, if you're doing bad things, that's going to happen to you because what you put out comes back to you. But if you're a good person, you know you're innocent, you know you're not any of these things that people have said or done to you, why would you become that way? Why should you hold that in your spirit? Why should you hold that in your heart? This doesn't mean that you're not going to be mad. This doesn't mean that you're not going to be angry. This doesn't mean that you're not going to be pissed off, because you are. And that's going to be the second thing. You're going to have to learn how to grieve. But in order to grieve, you have to talk about what has happened to you. You can't suppress how you feel. You can't walk around like your shit doesn't stink. Excuse my French. You can't walk around and act like you've never not gone through nothing, because you have. And you can't be out here trying to judge people and shame people, because when y'all judge people and shame people for going through things that you didn't speak up on and that you weren't able to fix, you become envious. I've had so many people be envious and try to be nasty and rude because they haven't took the time to let go of the grudge. I'm not holding a grudge. I will never hold a grudge. I don't think anybody is that important to me to hold a grudge. And like I said, if you have a nasty spirit, why would I want to idolize you? Why would I want to look up to you? Why would I want to be affiliated with you? There's people that I've been related to. There's people I've gone to school with. There's people I've been working with. There's people that try to pursue me. Horrible people. Horrible people. I'm not holding a grudge. All it made me realize was that I am such a beautiful person that these people, you are grateful that you had my presence, but I removed it. I don't need to talk badly about you. These people hate themselves. These people don't think highly of themselves. I know I'm not out here talking badly about certain people in my family. I know I wasn't out here taking advantage of my so-called friends, men or women. I know I'm not out here being a bad significant partner or a girlfriend or a wife to any of the men that I've been associated with. I know I'm sitting here going to work and I'm working. I'm not stealing or taking advantage of coworkers or trying to get people fired. So it's like, no, I'm not holding a grudge. If I sat here and I gave you my time, my energy, and my money or my effort, and you thought you was going to take advantage, you can have it. You obviously needed it more than me. Don't let people make you be bitter. Don't let people plant that seed. That's not going to work. So it's like, you need to talk about how you feel and you need to feel how you feel. And that's the second thing. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. You may feel sad. Why? Because once again, nobody deserves to get touched on inappropriately. Nobody deserves to be abused mentally or even physically. Nobody deserves to grow up in poverty. Nobody deserves to have people, like I said, try to get them fired or get them fired. Nobody deserves for people to cheat on them or, cause drama or confusion or get people sick or, nobody deserves that. Genuinely, like I said, when you're not out here doing certain things. And that's why people do certain things. People, when I realize, who hold grudges want you to feel the same way. That's why people say misery loves company. People will want you to feel, absolutely not. I will die on the hill before I sit here and allow anybody to make me feel some type of way. Nobody, like I said, none of you all, nobody that I knew for the first 28 years of my life, none of them. You know what I did? I removed myself. And when I did, I was grateful. Be grateful that these people are not in your life. Be grateful that you don't have to continue to learn these lessons. But I'm telling you, when you hold on to a grudge, you block opportunities. Had I would have sat here and been bitter and were to hold on to grudges, I would be so angry, you guys. And of course, because you have to express your anger and your frustration, this is going to take time. And that's the third thing. Like, you have to be patient. Letting go of a grudge takes time. This has taken me 28 years. I do this every single day. Like, if you're not constantly seeking therapy or going to psychiatrists, if you're not going to God, the answers to the universe, take what resonates, leave the rest, okay? Because I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. It is going to feel a lot, but it's like, it's a choice. I don't want to hold a grudge. And that's the fourth thing. You have to care in order to hold a grudge, you guys. I don't have it in me. I never have, and I never will. And for those of you who are into astrology, it is because I am an Aquarius. Okay, people love to be like, oh, Aquarius are God complex and only care about themselves. Why would I care about you? You can't care about people more than you care about yourself, because then what happens? And even if it's not for the astrology reasons, I'm just saying that because the girlies keep asking me what's my sign. That's my sign, okay? That's my sun sign, okay? But it's like, even if you're not into astrology or not, because that's not the purpose of this video, why should you care about people who don't care about you? What do we look like holding a grudge? Yes, you were angry that you were touched on inappropriately. You didn't know it was appropriate. But instead of holding a grudge, hold yourself accountable. And that's the fifth thing. Hold yourself accountable. Realize, what did you do wrong to end up in a situation? Not because you deserve it, but like for me, the people that were, doing certain things, let's just say in like my intimate life. So like significant others, partners. Why was I associated myself with them? Well, one, I was associated with certain people because I wasn't doing certain things. I wasn't where I needed to be. So if I'm in environments that are not for me, of course you're going to attract people that don't mean you any well. So what did I do? Instead of being so angry with these people, because it's both, you hold them accountable and you hold yourself accountable. Once I hold myself accountable and realized that I wasn't meant to be in certain environments, I stopped going there. I stopped having to deal with those people. Same thing with jobs. Instead of me getting upset that people are trying to get me fired, realize I don't need to be in this establishment. I don't need to be in this building. I don't need to be working at this job if people are going to go out their way to get me fired. Same thing with family members. If you know you're not out here talking badly about people that you love, you don't need to be associated with them. Go no contact. So what? So what if it's people that you know? Unless you have to be there, you have to tolerate people. And that's what I've learned. Learn to tolerate people so you don't have to hold a grudge. Learn to accept people for who they are and what they show you. Not what you think they're supposed to be or not how you feel, but what it is. I'm never going to hold a grudge. Like I said, you're going to feel mad. You're going to feel angry. You do need to articulate yourself. You do need to see therapy. You do need to talk about it. You do need to be taking notes. I do recommend journaling or booking a servicing session, but you got to let it out. This is why I created this platform. This is why I make these videos, because at the end of the day, who's going to check me? Oh, okay. People think they can come into your life and treat you all type of way, and you're supposed to sit here and be angry. Who are you? You need to start asking people that are crazy, because that's what it is. You're delusional to think you're going to come into my life and humble me. You're going to come into my life and mess up my family. Nothing outside of me can ever get that close to me. And when you do lose certain people, places, and things, because these people, like I said, already made up in their mind about how they wanted to treat you or how they feel about themselves, accept it. Like, yes, I've gave people money and didn't get the money back in return. I'm wealthy. And I'm not just talking about financially, because being wealthy has nothing to do with your finances. But if you want to be technical, baby, I'm always have money in my bank account. Like, that's not an issue. So the money wasn't lost. Same thing with the time, energy, and effort. I am like this every day. So the time, energy, and effort, you had me in the moment, but once you take that energy back, what could you do? A lot of these people, when people copy you, they can't think for themselves. You can't move until I move, just like that. So did you even lose anything? You didn't lose anything from you being betrayed. If anything, you should be lucky you didn't lose your mind, because that's what people want. People want you to care. No. In order to hold a grudge, you got to care. And I'm letting y'all know, I don't have it in me. I never will. And people say never say never. No, you know. When you know something, you know it. So it's not even never. It's just I know. We're not holding grudges. You guys need to start talking about what has happened to you, how it's made you feel. You need to self-reflect, and we can come up with solutions. So until you let me know in comment sections what has happened to you, how you're ready to take the time to grieve and be angry and to validate your emotions and to identify, you're going to hold on to the grudge. But over here, I'm not holding a grudge. And if you want to hold a grudge, my content isn't for you. Simple. You want to be mad and angry for the rest of your life, be mad and angry, but I'm not dealing with it. And you don't have to. Why do you think I'm supposed to be mad because you're mad? You want me to be miserable because you're miserable. You're not that important. And you got to realize that some people are not bigger than the plot. When it comes to your life, you get to decide who's for you and who's not. Like, people who don't have control for themselves think that it doesn't work like that. You can't manipulate somebody who is genuine. Like, who are you supposed, like, genuinely ask yourself, like, when people try to cause pain or fear or install it, why should we care? Especially if you claim to be an adult, and as you are adult and as you are maturing and as you are finding ways to come up with solutions and you become aware and vigilant of certain things, nobody has time. Holding a grudge, you think no, like, you have every right to feel sad and betrayed and upset in the moment, but we're not dwelling on it. We're not going to let it harvest and fester, because once again, once you start allowing that resentment and that anger and that fear and that envy to marinate, that's the demons people talk about. That's the entities, that's the energy. And that's when people start killing people and hurting people and raping people and just doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Okay? So if you all want the world to be a better place, you have to start with yourself. But I'm not holding a grudge. So if you want to hold a grudge, like I said, you do that. But for those of you who are not, make sure you like this video, comment down below, let me know what you want to talk about. Like I said, stop being embarrassed or ashamed. Because people who go through things, like I said, we can have these conversations, we can have mature conversations, and we can come up with solutions. Only immature people are not going to be able to come up with a solution and make you feel bad. No, if you was touched on it appropriately or somebody took advantage of you, that's going to make you feel some type of way. Nobody's saying that you can't cry. Nobody's saying that you can't be mad. Nobody's saying that you're not going to, have to recover from those things, but you don't have to be angry for the rest of your life. You don't have to allow it to sit. And just because you forgive people doesn't mean you forget. Like, people assume, because like I said, some people are just ignorant, because let's 2 + 2 is 4. What does forgiveness have to do with forgetting? Just because I forgive you, like, there's a lot of people I've forgiven, like I said, because I refuse to be angry and bitter. That doesn't mean I forgot. No, you all are on the block list forever. And that's just what it is. Sometimes you just block people. Stop talking to them. Like, cut no contact. Like, don't talk to these people. You don't have to talk to them ever again. You don't have to explain yourself to them. No, cut them off. They know what they did. They know what they said. They picked a side. Let them stay there. Now, if you want these people in your life, okay, cool. Y'all are going to really have to go to a therapist. You're going to have to improve yourself. You're going to have to change your ways. But me personally, there's nobody in my life that I've lost from them trying to hurt and harm me that I want in my life, because they tried to hurt and harm me. Not a family member, not a significant other, not a job, not a coworker, not nothing. If you went out your way to hurt and harm me and I did nothing to you, you are going to stay where you are. And I promise you, you are not a thought in mind. Okay? Like I said, the money, cars, and the clothes is replaceable. What's not is your life. You don't want to hold a grudge and take that out onto people and places and things who did nothing to you. Because imagine if I did allow the dusties in my life to make me feel some type of way, I wouldn't have been able to meet my man. Imagine if I did stay in those jobs around those miserable people, I wouldn't be the wealthy entrepreneur that I am. Imagine if I allowed certain people in my family or certain people I went to school with make me feel some type of way. I would look and act like them. I don't want to be like them. I'm not better than you, but I'm better than how you treat people. And that's the same thing with you. It is what it is. We don't have time to be holding a grudge. We have time to be living our best lives and doing what makes sense to us. So make sure you guys like the video, comment down below, follow me on all my social media platforms if I didn't say that already. And yeah, let me know what we need to talk about so we can move forward. When you guys follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, I will be going live talking about these things, get into the knit and the grit. So send and share this video to somebody who's mature, because this is the vibe. If you're not mature, it's not for you. Okay? Love you. Bye.